Hey everybody, Chris the Old Ass Retro Gamer here, and welcome back to another episode of Top 3 Tuesday. Last week I talked about my top 3 games of 2019. Well, today I'm back with part 2 in that series. I'm going to talk about the top 3 games I beat in 2019. Last year I decided that I was going to set aside a lot of time to play these games that I had been buying. Actually, in 2019, I completed the most amount of games in the space of a year that I have in years past. Since last week I talked about my top 3 games of 2019, and I beat all those games in 2019, wouldn't you think those would be the exact same games I'm going to talk about today? No. Once I said I was going to make these videos, I said, no, you are not going to repeat yourself, and luckily, I beat so many games in 2019, I did not have a hard time picking another 3 to talk about. So here we go. Donut County. So you know me, I'm all about the physical media. I mean, I'm a collector for crying out loud. Companies like Limited Run, Special Reserve, and all those other ones that release digital games on physical media are okay with me. I Am 8-Bit, which was primarily releasing video game soundtracks on vinyl, has sporadically been releasing digital games on physical media as well, and one that I took a chance on was Donut County. Game Honestest had talked about it in one of her videos. I'd seen a couple of other people talking about it, and it seemed kind of interesting, so when they offered it up, I took a chance and I said, yeah, let's do it. And the day it showed up, I was like, why not just stream this? It's supposed to be a short game, it won't be a big deal. And yes, the game is short. I want to say I beat it in about 4.5 hours. Did I have fun playing it? You damn right. It's essentially Katamari Damacy in reverse. Instead of having a ball that when you roll over things with it, items stick to it, and you're just constantly building a bigger and bigger ball until you're rolling up entire buildings and all that, you're controlling a hole in the ground, and you're trying to drop items into the hole, and the more things that fall into the hole, the bigger the hole gets, and eventually by the end of the game, you are dropping entire buildings into it. And you have objectives in each level. You need to drop certain items into the hole, and once you do, you can progress, but you can keep on going and gather up more points, and I had a blast doing it. It's a very simple game. There are some puzzles every once in a while that you need to overcome. It took some thought, and it was very fun and clever in spots, and the story is very charming and well done. It doesn't seem very obvious at first, but by the end of the game, I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. The moral of the story is, don't be a dick. And I had so much fun playing it. I guess it showed while I was streaming it, because some of the people that were watching me stream it, that were on the fence about the game, went out and actually bought a copy of it. And that to me is like super flattering. That translated through the stream and convinced other people to buy the game also. I mean, that's incredible. I had such a fun time playing Donut County. I might play through it again a couple of times, and that says a lot. Detroit Become Human. I really enjoyed Beyond Two Souls. I don't think I'd gotten emotionally involved in a video game in a long time until that one showed up. I think the one before that might have been Uncharted 2. I got so into Jodie's plight, and like that whole scene where she's homeless just completely like punched me in the gut, and I was really looking forward to David Cage's next game, with Quantic Dream, and that was Detroit Become Human, and I'd put off buying it for so long. Eventually, I ended up getting a copy for $5 on Black Friday in 2018, and yet I still put off playing it until late in 2019. But once I did, yeah, this game really grabbed me and did not let go. It follows 3 different android characters. Each one is having a different sort of life situation. So the world the game takes place in, androids are there to do what humans don't. You don't have a nanny, you buy this android, which is completely lifelike and acts like a human being, but they will do basically whatever you tell them to do. You can be nice to it, treat it completely with respect, which is the exact situation that Marcus is in. He lives with an old sick artist who treats him like a normal person. Then you have Kara, who is a maid in a house that is very abusive. There's a drug addict father with a daughter that he abuses on the regular, and he ends up transferring that abuse over to Kara. And then you also have Connor, who is a police cyborg and has a partner who is completely bigoted against androids. Each person's story is completely different and changeable. There are multiple outcomes for every single thing in the game. I replayed certain sections a few times to see what happens, and wow, just like in Beyond Two Souls, drastic changes occur. Androids throughout the country are like breaking their programming and going against their human masters, and that's a big no-no, so they end up becoming outlawed. Marcus becomes the face of the rebellion. Kara ends up getting a family, but she's on the lam. And Connor seems to be the one that has the hardest time breaking his programming, but he has some of the most interesting developments because he's put in positions where he has to kill his own kind a lot. Eventually, all 3 characters' storylines intersect, and then the game can end in so many different ways. The first time I was playing through the game, I was getting everything right. Like, everything was going well. Every character was happy, and then within like the last 10 minutes of the game, I screwed things up for every single one of them, and they all died. Luckily, I have the ability to go back to certain chapters and replay certain parts, and I did, and I got better endings each time I did that. which is amazing, and I'm probably still going to keep going back and doing that again to try different areas in a different way. But it's an interesting, dark story and got me emotionally involved in these characters. Like, I really felt for Kara, I really felt for Marcus, I really felt for Connor once he started to think in a different way. All I know is that I really wanted to beat this game as many times as I possibly could so I could see all the different scenarios play through. And that's another telling thing. If I want to keep playing a game even after I've beat it, normally I'll beat a game and I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. Let's move on to the next one. I kept coming back for more for about a week after I first beat the game, which, like I said, is very telling. Blood and Truth on the PSVR. So, like you know, I do a lot of videos about the PSVR. I love it. I think it's extremely fun and a great new way to play video games. On the PSVR Worlds demo disc, there is a British gangster mini game in there, which was pretty fun, which was basically just a test for what would end up becoming Blood and Truth. It is an interactive British gangster movie, and the game developers do everything in their power to make you feel like you are a part of the game. Not only is there gunplay, there's a ton of it. The way you reload is pretty interesting too. Lots of different weapons you can find and customize, but also there's things you might have to do when it comes to platforming that you might not normally do in a video game. Like normally in a regular game, you come up to a ladder, you might hit a button and your character would just walk up it automatically, or you'd walk up to it and your character would do the rungs. Nope, in this game you have to hold the move controllers like your hands are on the rungs, and you actually have to do like the movements. You're shimmying along the ledge of a building. You actually have to do the hand movements, including crossing your hands over to do that. It is crazy the amount of interaction you have with the environments. What about the gameplay? Yeah, it is a lot of gunplay, and it is really, really good. You have to use the two move controllers, like I mentioned. Each of your hands controls a gun, and if you have a machine gun, you can actually hold the move controllers in a position as if you're holding a real machine gun, and your character will actually hold the barrel. There's car chases. It's like one set piece after another, and each one keeps topping the last. The story is interesting. Yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but the characters are very likable, even though they're all criminals. Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming texted me. He beat this game in one sitting. Like, he started playing it at like 8 o'clock at night and he didn't finish it until like 2 or 3 in the morning. I played it over the course of a couple of nights and I enjoyed every second of it, and I really want to go back and play through it again because it's not too long, so it's not a huge time investment. And on top of that, it's supremely fun. What else can you ask from a video game? And plus, every excuse I can get to play my PSVR is a win. And to top it all off, there's definitely room for a couple of sequels in this thing, and I really, really want them. So there you have it, the top 3 games I beat in 2019. Like I said, I beat a lot of games in 2019, the most I've ever beaten in a year for the longest time. So I had plenty to choose from, and I think I picked 3 winners. So what were the top 3 games that you beat in 2019? Let me know. I'm completely interested. I always want to hear your opinions on the topics I choose. Leave your answers in the comments below. I really do want to hear from you. And I'm most likely going to do the top games I beat in 2020. So what games do I really need to focus on for 2020? Either older or newer, because I could have definitely talked about retro games if I actually beat any in 2019. All these collection live streams I've been doing, you see the games I have in my collection. Which ones do I need to focus on? Let me know. So until next time, in the next Top 3 Tuesday video, I am Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off.